And shorts, and surf, and scuba, and sand, and sailing, and soccer. San Diego, California.
Beats by Supremo for all of my people, Negroes and Latinos. And even the gringos.
Season's greetings and welcome to Two Balls and a Mic, the house of soccer in San Diego, under the bigger house of San Diego Punto Football. If you don't like San Diego Punto Football, it's fine. You just say San Diego Football. Same thing, synonymous with everything soccer in San Diego. Check the streams, make sure that they are good to go, audio-wise, because you're following us on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube live now. Season's greetings to everybody who is joining us yet again. We're going to go ahead and talk about San Diego soccer. San Diego Stalkers had the celebrity match canceled, along with their game, obviously, because of a flood pipe burst under Coachella Arena. I'm going to tell you exactly who's to blame to that. Allegedly. We're also going to go ahead and talk about everything that's happening with San Diego FC. There is an event coming up that's going to take place at the 18th Thread Store / Novo Brazil brewery, famous down here in the South Bay. Those Brazilians and their malts and their delicious beverages is coming to you in a Mission Valley sense, but they're going to have an event there. We're going to get into some details. FC Northland, the sister team of SDFC, training here in the, to be determined later. It's already determined. We'll tell you where they're going to go ahead and be at, and if people are going to be able to watch FC Northland coming in and training here against some very interesting foes in the MLS. We're also going to go ahead and talk about San Diego Wave and their wave making in the transfer market. They're going to go ahead and participate in the Coachella Valley Invitational along with Portland Thorn and Angel City. That's going to be their preseason. And obviously San Diego and the football is complete with tracking San Diego players. Brandon Vazquez making the switch from MLS to La Liga de Mexico, Liga MX, and Monterrey.
And even the
Joining Christina Birkenroad, two San Diegans now in the city of Monterrey, playing for Rayados or /Rayada. In the case of Christina Birkenroad, me official going to be important when Sam Kerr, is going to be taking her time because she tore her ACL. Anything else I'm missing, Chewy?
No, estoy viendo los comentarios. I'm just watching music still playing and the mic being worse than usual, but I can tell what you're saying. Okay. Worse than usual. Thanks.
Worse than usual. It's all good. Let's make there. Right here. Change all. There we go. Everybody that is joining us here because there is some really interesting things that are going to be happening. Season's greetings to the boy Esteban Toscano. There's a way. If there's a divine intervention, Esteban, I will go ahead and try to work that magic. You got a haircut, Chiba. Look at you.
I did. Sure did.
I didn't. I saw you for 8 hours at work today, and I didn't notice.
That's good.
I haven't seen you for 3 weeks too, so there's that. Allegedly, Craig did it. Craig burst the pipes. I maybe because again, Chihuahua Savage coming up this week. Maybe they wanted that extra week to prepare.
I got some inside sources about that.
You have some inside sources. We're going to get that at the top of the show. Season's greetings to the boy, Chris, and his beautiful family over there. Procrastinating Puma making the thumbnail for this episode, the bottom left corner, 206 episode. But with that said, I want to first give congratulations to my boss. Craig Elston, Craig Areno, the Craig one. He has his show on 97.3 The Fan over at called Annie and Elston, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. 4 hours a day of Padres talk and everything that comes between. And honestly, it's a really cool opportunity for him. So, go ahead and support everything that's happening in that universe, in that space, because again, it's going to only help everybody in the long run. Season's ratings, Jeremy coming in. But that's going to be very good for the discussion of soccer in general, for sure. I already heard some soccer talk in a different manner already that I haven't heard on the airwaves so far. Not saying that it's better or it's just different, but more the better. The more the better. Obviously, that's going to be a landscape that'll figure itself out. But by the way, Craig Areno, Mr. Craig, Senor Elston, congratulations. I don't know if that means collabs, but we'll see. But he is the boss.
He is the boss
over at San Diego Soccers, for sure. Like he's the guy, and he's the guy that put everything together as far as the rosters for who was going to play in the celebrity halftime show in the San Diego Soccers match against the Texas Outlaws. You were excited. You made promises.
I was. And I mean, it's still going to happen at a later date, hopefully.
It said postponed. Yeah.
Postponed, so hopefully it's still on. Some of my inside sources indicate that Tony bursted the pipe on purpose to avoid getting scored on me. That's what my sources are indicating too. Any words on that, Tony? Because I mean, at the end of the day, we know the excuse you were going to use. We all heard it on Tacos Overtime. You saying how, I am worried
that was a great
about
promo.
I am worried about going down and changing and not having enough time to get ready. And you know what? That was going to be the excuse that you were going to die on. And
I need to handicap myself. You guys can't keep up. I need to, I need to make a trek over and still be in the front of the line, because I don't know if you read the email for this event with everybody who was participating in the halftime show was going to go ahead and do this. Yeah, so I was a captain, so I have to be in the front, and then the instruction that says specifically captains go first. So it's like, not only is my time limited, I can't warm up, I have to have the pressure of leading this team into another assured victory. No, I had nothing to do with this, but I'll tell you who did have something to do with this, and it has to be with, probably one of the biggest regrets that I've not regrets, but just like regrets. There's things that I haven't done in this life, and I've done a lot, and if I die today, like, it's going to be a great life to look back on or reflect on. But no, trust me, it was great.
I believe you.
I've never seen Mana live.
Oh, wow, twice.
I've never seen Metallica live. That's something that I've always wanted to do. And I've never seen Dwayne The Rock Johnson. The Rock. You know Dwayne. This is not Dwayne Johnson. This is The Rock.
Yeah.
This is the people's champ, singular. This is the future, and actually still currently reigning, defending head of the table. Acknowledge the only one that needs to be acknowledged. Anyway, The Rock.
Is the music still playing by any chance?
La música. If you guys don't like it, that's fine. You let me know. You let me know.
It was still playing.
It's all good. Some nice background music. It's our music. All right. Thanks to the great Drew Scarino. Everybody's a Reno, like Nettie Flanders. But yeah, so the great one, the eyebrowed one, the Rock, People's Champ, came over and did a surprise. And I was talking with a couple of people, and I've never seen him live. Right? That was last week on Monday Night Raw.
So sad.
The Sunday before, I was in the arena, and they have this welcome Raw, and it has pictures of the graphics of the superstars, and it's like Happy New Year, because it was the New Year, like it's day one. Mm-hmm. And there were rumblings, like on the dirt sheets. Like, I was talking to several people about this, like, hey, The Rock's supposed to come back. Hey, The Rock might be coming back. This and this and this, like blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, like, guys, like, I have to, this soccer thing, like, it's fine. Like, I like to watch the arena explode from TV. And this is true. Like, whenever they're in San Diego, I love watching them because you can tell when it's sports arena, when you can tell when it's pachanga with the noise canceling stacks, the section 2C, 2B, like important things have happened in that arena. And I've mentioned it ad nauseum during last year's commentary, this year's commentary too, of a little bit, whatever I can get away with the lore of the wrestling and La Lucha Libre that's happened inside of that. Did you know that the Undertaker, right? Like, what lost a career versus career match in San Diego? He lost, so he didn't have a career, and due to shenanigans, he has it back. Jeff Hardy, do you know who Jeff Hardy is?
Simon, me suena.
Once swanton bombed off of a trailer truck onto the parking lot where you park.
You showed me that video.
Beat Umaga.
You showed me that video
for the Intercontinental title here in San Diego. Here in San Diego, The Rock returned and defeated Jonathan Coachman in a promo bat. Like, I'm telling you.
I'm sorry you missed that.
We had to do 2 balls and a mic because we don't want to break the streak, and you want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can.
I mean, we could have gone on Tuesday.
Sure. But either way, that's something that
you're going to regret.
I'm going to regret for a little bit because I didn't see The Rock, and I knew he was going to come back. And as soon as I found out that he came back, I think it was actually during the show where somebody commented, and I think it was 619 Sports was like, The Rock came back.
Yeah,
like he just put eyes, and I knew what those eyes meant. And I was like, fun. Anyway, his presence and just the monolith of a human being that he is, the electricity. He is the most electrifying person in sports entertainment, hands down. The People's Elbow is the most electrifying move in sports entertainment. You know what the People's Elbow is? This jump soap. Okay.
I had probably not, but so you're saying The Rock is to blame for
The Rock is the one to blame because he was in San Diego. Look at that. That's sports arena, bro. Like section 10B. We do commentary there sometimes, bro.
We do.
The San Diego Sockers play there. Tony Sanchez was going to go ahead and go 3-0 in this same arena. But the presence of the eyebrowed one definitely, definitely destroyed. It's The Rock's fault.
It's The Rock's fault.
It's The Rock's fault.
Score on you this weekend.
Got it. It's The Rock's fault that I was not able to once again embarrass you. Out there, and ultimately, it's fine. I'm undefeated. If that means that it's postponed to a later time at Pechanga Arena, sure. If that means I have to drive up to the Front Wave Arena and kick your ass over there, I will do just that. But let's never forget who the one in 2 balls and a mic and San Diego Punto Football is, and who the real champ.
Dude, like, no, wait, not
put something on it.
Wait.
Put something on it.
Tell me you were.
No, last week I told you put something on it, and you were like,
when is it going to be the game?
Every year I bet and I lose, and the one year that I'm going to beat you, I'm going to do something different and not bet anything against you.
I'm just saying, like, you better hope the game is not some weekend that I have a vacation planned, because then I won't be able to go.
See, you're already planning exit strategies, which is fine. It's respectable. No, I get it. Like, it's fine.
I'm marking the dates right now.
If you're leaving the country,
6th.
If you're leaving the country for the sake of not facing me once again and just having those nightmares and everybody just kind of, who's defending you? Who defends you? Like in this scenario, there is one person. There is one person defending you out there. And I'm not going to lie. I took offense to it. And great person. This will never be a slanderous podcast outlet. Punto Football, the website, the image, the things you love. We're going to get to some breaking video footage here of SDFC that just dropped a couple minutes ago. I think they were waiting for 2 balls and a mic. I actually was talking to somebody at the team. I'm like, hey, like this. And they're like, hey, maybe this might happen. But we're going to check that out. Either way,
I don't know. Shout out to the Emo Brown real quick on Instagram, dropping saying 2 matches, 2 game winners. I mean, that was before our time being introduced at the Celebrity Media Games. So you were on his podcast and you I told him, right?
I told him, hey, now you have another chance.
Steve,
you have another chance, Steve. You have another chance.
This water piper has happened for a reason, Steve. Now you can maybe
It's
make it.
divine intervention is what's happening.
Ooh.
It's divine intervention. People need to see everything just close at Pachanga Arena. Like the story needs to be completed. I know David Frecker, Senor, is also, having his opinions that are wrong, and it's fine. And again, I will speak it as it is.
Teammate's name
I
out
will
your mouth.
keep
all right?
it as it is. I will
keep my
as the kids say,
teammate's name out of your goddamn mouth.
I'll keep it
now.
100. I'll keep it 100.
Dude. Oh man.
Look who it is. Okay,
you are
dude.
so lucky.
Okay.
Water piper.
Chiva would have scored 3 goals.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Discussions were had, David. Actually, legitimate discussions about tactics, because I have scouts that wanted you to stand in front of me the entire match, which is fine. But I'll just say that when that light turns on, when that switch hits, I'm a different animal. Like those 8 minutes of lightning are going to be some of the most painful for you mainly. But if that was a tactic that was going to be rolled out in front of me and put, I would have been very concerned for their safety. So David, if it happens, don't try. Don't know. I mean, you have choices, Jeff. There's Instagram and there's YouTube now. So that's definitely something. If somebody goes on vacation, yeah, maybe, man. Maybe. But ultimately, it's okay. It's okay.
San Diego Sockers, if you're listening, don't schedule the celebrity match on the weekend of March 7th, please.
Hey, Craig, March 7th?
I will be in Portland.
But yeah.
Or like March 8th that week. So
but yeah.
do it that day.
So what I'm saying is that the only person that's actually defending you in any of this is Travis Peterson. Travis Peterson.
My boy Travis.
The staple of soccer imagery in San Diego.
That is my boy. I am his favorite ball and 2 balls and a mic.
This is
I know it bothers you.
This is weird. I mean, look, if you know Travis Peterson, please check on him. He's gone off the rails, it seems.
I mean, he knows it's true though.
At Punk Rock Paint, great stuff. A great artist. He's actually the person that is the person that brought us the new imagery, the new la imagen de San Diego Football that you've all come and have been saying great things about. Obviously, our rollout into San Diego Punto Football as a company name has been in the making, but it's really thanks to Travis that we were able to take 100%. That step into bringing everybody this. There's other variations of this, just like the regular one, but thank you, Travis, for doing that. But in that same breath, what the hell is this?
Soccer's halftime games are fixed.org.
The hell is that?
Have you typed it? You haven't typed it.
Why is it .org?
The fact that you typed that. Come on, dude. You fell for it. Stupid.
It's not secure, bro.
No, I mean, Travis is 100% convinced that, the Sockers bursted those pipes on purpose to save your ass because you're an employee of theirs. So, this may or may not be confirmed by inside sources, but Travis will die on that hill for sure. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I know you have a thing with Travis, and I mean,
it's fine. No, it's fine. Like anybody,
don't take it personal.
Look, this chat right now is filled with people who support me, right, guys?
100%. You're everyone's favorites, but not everyone's. Travis,
because I get the phone calls.
That's my boy.
I get the phone call, so
yeah, you're the
I'm
guy.
Somebody's favorite, but I'm somebody's least favorite for sure in a lot of ways. But that's fun. Hopefully, it does get rescheduled. There will be a match coming up against Chihuahua Savage here on the 14th. There is a clinic. Bring your children if they want to practice and train on the field. This might be a scouting event. You never know. Might find the next Craig Childs, who is 1 point away from the legendary status of 400. So that's something to definitely watch for coming up here at home. Whatever Chiva is smoking, please share with the rest of us, is saying Jeff Abramovitz. I love people with the last name Abramovitz, or close enough. especially with the Chelsea ties and
I don't know what he's
victories.
talking about.
Oh, Roman Abramovich.
That's a good one. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's going to be Sunday. It's going to be a good game. It's a rematch of the semifinal. The San Diego Sockers lost. The last time that they lost was against this team. Eventually became the champions. The whole league, they lost. But yeah, we're definitely going to go ahead and talk about that on Soccer's Overtime tomorrow, Twitch, 5 p.m.
Man,
Get all your soccer stuff on there. With that,
I missed that game.
there is new video that dropped, and we're going to go ahead and react to it. I'm trying to figure out where it is because they don't upload at the same time. It's usually staggered when they put on X, when then 20 minutes later it's on Instagram.
I think it was on X, right? The recent video that dropped.
3 days from now, it's on it's on YouTube. But yeah, so let's check it out. So San Diego FC has posted a full-length video. We'll give you the click, guys. Click. Oh, it is on YouTube. Excellent, nice. Excellent. Look, progress. I will not pause it.
Whole thing.
All right, so we have.
So you got. Oh, there was no sound on that video, Tony. You know. Okay, yeah, but anyways, in the part that you guys couldn't hear, there was the names of
Tyler Heaps.
Yeah, Tyler Heaps and different people that were there to scout.
Let's go here.
I mean, so far so good, right? Like, I mean, I like
check the sound on there. Let's see. That's interesting. Anyway, yes. So there's just images essentially. Tyler Heaps, here we go, who is representing the Right to Dream Academy for the San Diego arm of this through SDFC. They went to the MLS Next scouting tournament, essentially to tournament to scout, and that's something that's definitely been in the works as far as what this team is going to have the basis of. This team is going to be an academy team. And it's already taken in place. These are the people who are wearing the crest already, who are official through Right to Dream into what's going to be funneled into the academy essentially and into the first team. Like these are going to be some of the players that you're going to be seeing in the first team of SDFC. Let's see. Jeremy Mercido, global head of talent scouting for Right to Dream.
Oh, no, sí, pues sí. I mean, it's going to be a matter of time to see what they're going to be able to bring, right? But it would be interesting to get in their face and just in their head and see kind of like what they're interested in. Like what is, like when you look at a player, what are you trying to look for, right? Especially like if you go into like FIFA career mode, like, or your scouts are like, oh, I want a defensive minded player or anything like that. So it'll be interesting if they're looking for a specific kind of like what FC Northland play, what their style, right? High press, high attacking. That's what Tom Penn also told us in the interview. Our team is going to be high press, high attacking. Like it's not going to be boring to watch. So you look for talent that already kind of like have that in their nature, right, at a young age. So it's easier to mold into the style that you want. But can you find that in the MLS Next? A few, right? I am assuming.
Yeah, so that's already players that are have grown up in a way that it's not necessarily taught, right? So that's kind of what you're looking for. I'm sure for a fact that they're going to be bringing players from Ghana, from Denmark, from Egypt into this SDFC team, but you also got to supplement it with local talent. And so I do believe this was a tournament rather locally because, again, on a global scale, which SDFC is, local talent does encompass Arizona and these tournaments that are happening. I'm sure that there's going to be scouting and over at the Coachella Invitational, which San Diego Wave is a part of on that side of things. But that's going to be another opportunity for the scouts for Right to Dream and SDFC to really come together, and that's really one and the same. Like you cannot separate water from wet. It is what it is. But that's really going to put the foundation of it. Where does like somebody like Durant Free, and again, the only player right now to really talk about, you found your goalkeeper at this point? Are you going to keep looking for the next Durant Free? What's going to be the scale of this? So we've actually reached out to SDFC.
At what age do you find the next Durant Free?
So that's what they're looking for. Like the age range at this point is like 10, 11, 12.
That's wild.
Yeah. 10, 11, 12 to then have 3 years of actual hardcore development, probably. And this is, again, these numbers are just for the majority of the time, that's what it takes in other parts of the country. If they're really good, if they're prospects, if they're prodigies, then they can move into the 15, 16, 17 time frame of debuting. But that's, again, to be determined, because if you have a team that's primarily 18, 19-year-olds, the young players are going to be young. And we've seen, again, last time, the team that made it all last year, the team that made it all the way to the Open Cup Championship, Sacramento, in that same season, they started a player who was 13 and got some real time minutes. So these are going to be interesting dynamics. We're going to hope. We've reached out to SDFC to talk exactly to these individuals are going to be putting the team together on the soccer side of things. Mm-hmm. The soccer ops, the X's and O's, but we've seen lower level soccer in the terms of UPSL and everything that kind of is in between there. NISA, there's some really good players out there here in San Diego as well. So, and this region in general, is this going to be successful? Do you think it's going to work?
It's very hard, right? Because, you're expecting these 18, 19-year-olds to be able to compete with teams that are bringing in talents like Uyoris, and we talked about it last week, right? But it's going to be hard to compete against teams that are able to bring already solidified players in the world. And I don't see how they're going to be able to compete at this point, right? It's going to be a mixture of the experience and the youngsters. And I think SDFC will be a different type of Right to Dream product. And it'll take a couple of years to maybe have the team be young and competitive. But is it possible? They sure think so, because they're pushing hard for this. They really are.
A good point. Jeremy here, kind of over the Right to Dream getting pushed so hard. I don't know SDFC and what they are going to do as a club. I get it. We have an academy, so that's a valid point there. Jeff agreeing as well, looking for San Diego to dream, and that's another storyline, right? That's a storyline that you have with an academy team of finding that local youngster that's going to start their career, ideally help bring a championship along the way for San Diego, but really start the professional career and take off into and essentially have San Diego on their back, a la me official, right? Like playing in Chelsea, playing at the highest level, really all about San Diego. If people who are following San Diego soccer, not following me official, that's something who you really want to keep your eye on. Obviously, there's a lot more stars out there. We'll get into something that I believe a paid terrible SDFC memes came up, a little series that they're doing, but you're gonna say something.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, I know you claimed and there's evidence that you played at a high level at a young age, right?
There's evidence, yes.
Did scouts ever approach you, and how does that usually work from your experience?
So I was approached for scouts in Mexico.
It's
so
different, right?
It's definitely different, but it's almost the same structure. And this is why I say I know this kind of structure of how things work. It's a lot of pay to play over there, and it's really just it's corrupt. So if you're not paying, you're not playing at all. Literally the definition of pay to play. But
in a different way.
yeah, so like
you're buying your spot.
Yeah, so then there's scouts who then go to the games, they see you, and then they approach either the coach of your team first, just to give a little bit more insight of like where you're at, right? Because again, at that age, in that time frame, there's a lot of players who are coming in, like me, who was crossing the border from the U.S. to play over there every day. And is that really going to be something that I can just drop and go, right? Like just kind of like a profile, like, okay, tell me who this is. If it's good, we would like to go ahead and offer an opportunity to go ahead and train over in the facilities, the academy facilities for the team. So I got an offer for Cruz Azul and Pachuca. Pachuca was developing theirs, which is a really good academy. And that's like, you live there, you study there, you live, eat, like everything is there on site, exactly like Right to Dream is. But again, that's literally where you live, eat, breathe, and everything. Eat, breathe, sleep, go to school. I wasn't the opportunities that the U.S. presented, especially not just for myself, but just as a family in general. This is just a completely different tangent, but like it just wasn't the right fit. Same thing with Cruz Azul, where I'd have to go for a certain amount of time and miss school here in the States, which is a weird dynamic where I never played soccer in the States because I had to play soccer in Mexico. But then school here prevented me from really kind of going that way, which is fine. I enjoyed it. But that's kind of like the lay down. The scouts kind of come up to you and approach you. Like they can, like, that's more like not necessarily like the sleazy ones, but you'll have the scouts like, hey, like I have this group of kids that's really good. Like, would you like to join this team? I can get you these gloves, these shoes, this, and then kind of take it from there. They are also connected in the same way because again, this is a corrupt pay to play system, but those kind of are like, you know, sleazy agents in the industry, in the filmmaking industry, in the music industry. Like those exist in soccer too. So that's kind of my experience. And I think this is in a way a more holistic, quote unquote, way of going about the academy, because again, there is and there isn't rules because you're on tribal land and it's a different nation. Blah blah blah. Weedy. We'll get to these great comments that are coming in. Yes, allegedly I was a goalkeeper, but it's an opportunity that's going to be presented here for the locals, but that's what they have right now. Go check out the video on the official SDFC website.
My thing is more like there's two routes when you can go in the US, right? Like you can go straight through pro, or you can go college and then get drafted into the MLS, right? I want to know if Right to Dream will become accessible to players. Say you go into Right to Dream and you're going to school and all this. Do they push for you to go to the college route or straight to pro? Because they're
over there.
I mean, just to Right to Dream, especially here, because the whole philosophy is like, hey, we're still going to provide for you, even though if you don't make it soccer wise, we're still going to care for you until you finish school, until you're 18, right?
Check. I think I figured it out. We're gonna go. I'll talk through this a little bit, but let's see.
It's like they're more performance based, but we're more potential based. So for us,
because that biggest challenge, that quote stood out to me right now. Thank you again for joining us here. We're gonna read some comments really quickly. We have Nick Duffy saying, also stop pushing for other clubs like in the organization and have the support of the whole thing. Haven't shown me much about this local team first. Very true. And we'll talk about FC Northland, the sister team that's coming over to train at the Olympic Training Center. I believe they're starting the 15th, and some of their rivals, because again, soccer is coming to San Diego. Soccer has always kind of been here. And then, you know, since San Diego Loyal trained at the Olympic Training Center, more focus was on there. But the U.S. women's national team, the U.S. under-17s, the U.S. national team, people come to train and nobody paid attention in the Olympic Training Center. And that's just been happening forever. They have great installations. ¿Sí soy yo?
Pues no me fijé porque
okay,
no me
let me go ahead and do that. So I'll keep talking here. But yeah, so that's kind of a dynamic there. You have SD Right to Dream Academy starts in the fall 2025. Not going to start majority of the academy players for inaugural 2025 season, which would make sense. However, there is that network of academy players that are out and about through the Right to Dream Academy that already play in the in the MLS that are going to be integral in really being that first wave of squads rolling and what will eventually be representative of SDFC. Then you sprinkle some of the academy players that are abroad, and you got yourself a team, at least an initial 11. There's a lot. This is a project that extends well beyond just the starting 11 of this team. But do you get anything? See?
It's hard because
I know.
yeah.
I know. Well, here I know what's going on. So let's go ahead and listen to some of this because I know for a fact that Cecilia.
Challenge would be to keep just fading what we believe in, to keep close on what we're actually looking at, because a lot of the teams here feels like they're more performance based, but we're more potential based. So for us to always just keep on hold on what we believe in, more tactical, smart, technical players, and always keep our feet on the ground and looking at other clubs also, maybe not with the biggest logos, but where the potential is actually at, and go with that and trust that. It's easy to get carried away with the results and to see that other clubs are winning, doing well at tournaments. So I think the biggest learning has been that keep faith in what.
So something that stood out to me right there is as you have the double ones, now you got too much. Now you got too much audio, guys. Is that they're going to be more potential based, not necessarily performance based. Not the going to be. That's literally cherry picking a sentence that was said in a 5-minute video, but it kind of goes along the way of what an academy really is, right?
Yeah.
The academy wants to find that product. The academy wants to present the opportunities. The academy wants to be a part of the cog of the wheel of modern football that's going to go ahead and generate the most money when they sell that player to another team, put a clause in it so that eventually when they play for Juventus, when they play for PSG, when they play for Borussia, there is a clause where, yeah, this player was sold for 55 million. SDFC still gets a portion of that, and Right to Dream still gets a portion of that. And the bigger the player, the bigger the development, the bigger the talent, the bigger the exchange will be. Does that exchange lead to championships in San Diego?
For example, this, right? Look, let me show you. Let me share this with you.
Share it.
Hold on.
And it's going to be interesting.
Gotcha. So something like this, right? So there's player Alamona Gallo, right? Going with Burkina Faso to the AFCON, plays for FC Northland, and you can see like they put the pictures, right? So you're essentially waiting for that post.
Yeah.
For someone from San Diego. So
yeah, and again, it goes back to the discussion that we were having last week about Duran Ferry. Whenever he went to the Champions League, will the SDFC and tweet be, Duran Ferry, former San Diego Loyal, doubt that they'll say that. Right to Dream products, San Diego and Duran Ferry, congratulations for winning the championship in the treble with Chelsea. Like, whatever the situation is, that's a discussion. That's a valid discussion. And I think people are getting a little bit tired of the Right to Dream part. But again, there's nothing else. There is nothing else to really talk about and dig in. So I think we can still share. I know why it was double, because you have StreamYard unmuted and that was playing while the actual video was playing. So they got the one. So we're going to continue with that. Right on here.
What we believe in, and don't get tricked by a performance-based team and players.
Right to Dream is not a model where an individual is going to succeed by himself. Right to Dream is a model where an individual is part of a team and the team wins and loses together. And I think for us, it's about trying to find that player that is willing to take risks and do it the way that we would like, because we think that will bring us success in the long run.
I'm sorry, I'm going to nitpick maybe this video. And again, it's a good insight. We haven't received anything much in general of what the scouting thing is, but when you hear that right there, I felt like it was a strong contradiction. I love hearing that we're going to be a team aspect. I love the team aspect of this game, and the expression of soccer as a team, as a unit, in a total football sense is beautiful and is why I love the sport. And completely true. An individual doesn't make anything. and immediately turns it into, well, we're trying to find that individual that's going to do things differently, but the way we want them. That's a difficult paradox, contradiction.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, it's not even about focusing on finding the individual, right? At the end of the day, academies are meant to find different prospects that are going to improve the game in a way, whether it's for your team or eventually you send them somewhere else, right? And yeah, you're trying to find that one hidden gem, but I mean, how many other, like you said, it's a team sport. You gotta field players, 10 players, 10 other players. Like, yeah, Barcelona found Messi.
Yeah.
But I mean, still Messi had teammates.
Fed him hormones.
He still had Xavi, Iniesta, Ronaldinho, other players, other hidden gems. Like, it's not just going to be one. You're going to have great players all around.
Yeah, and you're joining a network, which is kind of, again, what procrastinating is sitting here is, out of curiosity, did you ever find out if SDFC is going to be treated at the top of Right to Dream Network or not? And again, what does that even mean? Because if they really hyper focus on the area here, then you're going to be the top of the area, top of the MLS. Who are you competing it with, quote unquote? Are you going to be playing nice? Are you going to be transferring players from here to FC Northland? I have no actual like grounds on this, but if you've been paying attention, you pretty much can see a potential trajectory for a San Diegan to come to SDFC, and that's Milan Iloski. Milan Iloski has been playing in Orange County, was a great player who was critical for their success, and graduated now into playing for who? FC Northland, another Right to Dream team, who's going to be here at the Olympic Training Center playing against Galaxy and LAFC. Interesting kind of dynamic there for playing the two teams in LA. But
is he good enough to play in MLS?
You might be a feeder team for that. That's going to be interesting. Again, we saw San Diego Loyal play against LAFC in a preseason match last year, and that was their last preseason match going into a season that they eventually, long season, made it to the MLS Cup final. So it was a good team. That team had Cellini on, Bunaga, Carlitos Vela. Like it was the A team for a good while there. So can this mean nothing? Yeah, potentially. Like potentially these two teams could never see each other. Milan Iloski stays in Denmark and has a hell of a career, gets sold off to another European team, and we never hear about him. But is that trajectory kind of path laid out? Potentially. But I don't know. That's an interesting kind of head exercise to kind of think about there.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, again, we're not really going to see anything until a lot longer, but this is what they're giving us for now. And I mean, let's keep listening real quick.
San Diego's not short of talent. And I think working for the national teams, so many players have come from San Diego, and I think that's really exciting for us. But I think our challenge now is how do we keep those players in San Diego?
And that's Tyler Heaps, who did have experience, as he said, with the national team, seeking talent, seeking everything. So he has a good eye for some of these things that eventually develop into what is top tier MLS.
Yeah,
it's difficult.
Yes,
that's a good point. Like, how do you keep these players here? Because better offers could come along.
Yeah,
you never know. And at the end of the day, all these players want to play at a higher level. That doesn't mean they want to stay even in MLS, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of them, the dreams to go to Europe.
Yeah.
That was confirmed to us by story. Like that was Duran's goal to get to Europe. It probably still is.
That's
difficult to see a San Diego native playing for a different club, to be honest. And I think that's a big emphasis for us as a club. And I think what's really exciting is that we are able to bring our environments to San Diego. We're able to bring our environment to the MLS. We're able to bring our environment to this country to compete at the highest level.
I think we are ready. We are ready. If you look at the team that we have. For me, I'm really, really happy, to be part of this organization and to look forward to work more.
I've been very fortunate to be part of a team of scouts who've discovered talents for the last 15 years.
Kudus! Oh,
Kudus with a good
spectacular!
goal.
What a dazzling goal from
Pretty good.
Mohamed Kudus!
But are we taking credit for this as SDFC? He's part of Right to Dream. Side note, whatever.
A special player.
Having the opportunity to go to places in Burkina Faso, scouting Husseini Buddha,
Playing for
who's
LAFC.
obviously done fantastically well in USA. It's just hard to believe that you can witness Mohamed Kudus come through the system, Kamaldeen, Ernest at Lyon, Simon at Brighton, Diamande at FC Nordsjælland. And there's more to come. That's the exciting thing about it.
Right to Dream has proven before that we will allow.
I also want to put the parameters of knowing that we're finding somebody like Messi, finding somebody like even Hazard, finding somebody like, okay, let's go talent wise, right? Like or just like Modric, like a Cruz, finding somebody even like
the thing
Ramirez,
they might
Brazilians,
they might not even find that type of
the names that are coming up like aren't household names. They are not household names because they're not part of our household in a sense, because they might be folk heroes and probably are folk heroes from their respective origins. But here in San Diego, if we find that level, it's going to be, the levels have to be really set into what they're looking for and what they want to be successful for. Because if you want to compete, and this is big picture, Tom Penn talked about this, like what do you consider big picture?
Mm-hmm.
Eventually playing Libertadores?
Maybe.
Is that's the
participating
against other nations and ¿cómo se llama el torneo este de la MLS en la Liga MX?
Oh,
the interleague Liga MX MLS tournament that MLS took, and congratulations, and pissed off a lot of La Liga fans. The Leagues Cup, thank you, because it's Leagues Cup and the Nations League, like all these tournaments.
I mean, yeah. My thing is, I mean, we also have to understand that Right to Dream, it's worldwide, but they can't claim a world-class talent like Messi, not even Messi, like Modric, Kroos, something like that, right? Because those big names and those talents are being scouted by even something bigger than Right to Dream, and that's Real Madrid, and that's the Manchester, and that's Chelsea, and that's those scouts that teams are paying billions of amounts of money to get those players. Mohamed Kudus plays in West Ham, plays in the Premier League. A couple players there. Are those players that you're like, damn, yes, that player's world-class talent. Yeah, he plays in Premier League, but is Right to Dream ever going to find that? Maybe once?
Yeah, so look, who's from San Diego, right? Again, let's take the anomaly, which is Mia Fisher playing at the highest level in the Women's Premier League with Chelsea. From San Diego, Paul Arriola, Joe Corona, I'm just throwing names. Joe Corona, I'll throw Guido in there. Brandon Vazquez. Chat, give us some. If I miss it again, local talent that ended up at the teams that they ended up in or are currently in aren't necessarily the names that were just mentioned of playing over at Brighton, right? Like if Brandon Vazquez was to go and play at Brighton,
Luca de la
Torre, like if they were able to play here at that level, like we'd be, oh my God, these hero, this player from San Diego, he's playing in Leeds. Like we've given him that respect. And again, that's the scope of what we're talking about. Like at first MLS, then expand a player into different territories. If that's Liga MX, if that's going over and playing the Brazilian league and the Argentinian league, going overseas and playing, and maybe the hope is to play for a PSV Eindhoven, like playing for a Feyenoord, maybe, and like Santi Cazorla, like I'm talking about Mexicans, right? Like Santi Cazorla, Santi Jimenez,
Español,
I know, retired. Santi Jimenez playing over in Netherlands is
probably the hottest target this January transfer window.
Edson is playing with the Hammers. Like he is the greatest thing since sliced bread in Mexico because he's playing in the Premier League. Like he's and actually playing really well, and they really love him. But again, what I'm saying is just that the scope of this project is going to be interesting to hear exactly what they want. And let's just finish up the video because again, we might be having the answer right then and there.
Pathway for players will allow underprivileged kids to have an opportunity, will allow the kids to flourish in San Diego, allow them to go to school, get an education, but also to play soccer at the highest level. And I think that's really exciting for me as an American, because I think we have an opportunity to do things differently here. And we have an opportunity to succeed doing things differently here.
For some reason in my belly, I start to believe with San Diego FC, we'll be part of that discovery of generational talents and more. And there won't just be one.
Muito interesante. Muy interesante.
There could be one.
There could be one. There could be many.
more.
And again,
Could just
we
be
don't
one.
know because
There
this
could
is
be none.
this is the experiment of soccer in San Diego. This has been something that we've been asking as San Diegans, as locals, as people of the region. We're gonna go over and talk to people in Tijuana as when we get credentialed over to watch Chivas versus Cholos, and talk to people over there. Like again, like this is something that you're gonna have to battle with because you're gonna be battling with the scouting against Cholos, maybe, and what the crossing of streams is gonna happen there. We're gonna we're gonna talk with Cholo officials and just kind of bring context as what this means. And I think it's gonna mean a little bit more. And I don't think people are thinking about this for the right to dream. Not necessarily taking scouting from Mexico away from Cholos, but they're going to go ahead and hit a demographic with scouting with female players in La Femenil for right to dream and taken away from potentially a demographic that San Diego Wave will not be looking at with a potential future of what they're planning. And we're going to get to that here soon, closing out SDFC talk. Yeah, and look, people are waiting. Like, if there's something that we learned as far as what people like in their socials is transparency. And I think that, you know, even just saying like, hey guys, we're at this point, like we're in this direction, and are we going to get that from the big box corporation? I'm not sure if we are going to get that right now. However, what we are getting is an event that is coming up for SDFC and their supporters. There is there is details that have come out. Let me just see what I can do.
Going to be at the Mission Valley Mall, right? For 18 Threads.
18 Threads
at
and
Novo Brasil over there. Which I mean, again, check out Novo Brasil locations over there in Mission
not
Valley.
sponsored, but
Not sponsored. Maybe one day.
yeah. So, with FC Northland playing here against Galaxy in this, I know for as far as being able to attend those matches, there is currently discussions being had within the club and with depending on the responses that they do get from a survey that went out as far as wanting to attend some of these matches or some of these trainings for FC Northland at the Olympic Training Center. Those have gone out. Go ahead and look for them. You can go ahead and fill them out. Are they going to go ahead and allow people, the public, to go ahead and see those matches? That remains to be seen. But you know what? If that's something that you're interested, go ahead and find that survey. Cool. You can go ahead and do it.
That would be pretty cool. Just it gives you a little taste of maybe what you could be seeing here in San Diego, right? So I think a lot of people would be very interested in attending those matches.
Absolutely. And so here for that event, it's going to be on January 13th from 3 to 5 p.m. Supported rally at Mission Valley Mall in Novo Brasil and 18 Threads Court. What we can say is the following. At this event, there's going to be a special announcement and a special guest. So stay tuned for more information. That coming directly from the club. So if that's something that you're interested in, I know again there's
a guessing game. We don't know, but can we
I
play a
have
little guessing
no
game?
clue.
Who would be a special guest? Manny Machado, Duran.
I mean, maybe they're protecting him.
They are. They really are.
We reached out, but it's fine. It's fine. It's a morro, like it's a kid, like of course.
Be another special guest.
I don't know. I don't know who we haven't heard from within the club. If it's maybe like it'd be really cool if it's like people from Right to Dream. It's just kind of talk about the way that they're rolling things out. Because again, you're starting to see the crest, SDFC crest on some of these shirts. Most of the scouts that you saw in that video had the Right to Dreams, but you again, you had the SDFC crest on there a couple times. But I don't know. Like I really don't know if there is anybody that I can be like, oh my god, like bring.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting. Like I trust them. There's a lot of planning that goes into this, and
there's rumors that Benzema's coming to MLS eventually.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Just stick him in. Look, I mean, you stuck Benzema in a Saudi Arabian
over there
league.
in Saudi. Waits another year. You can have him here, 2025.
But yeah,
why not? Right? Like,
so yeah, you can go ahead and see, and I'll see if it's open to
Landon Donovan, special guest
to media. Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be
very interesting. Just have Landon and then just.
You know
what?
I always thought he'd be a pretty good scout. He wasn't the best coach, and he loves that aspect of working with the youth. So maybe he ends up with Right to Dream.
Everything is so insular with them. I don't know if how he would fit the coaching model with his particular style.
He doesn't have to be a coach. He could
be a mentor. He could just come in. Like, why not?
Be a scout. Just, hey, this player has it. I mean, based on Loyo and who he kind of like put his money on.
CJ Fodry.
True. Yes.
Xavi, who is on his path to be a professional, super young. Duran Ferry, first signing for SDFC under his tutelage. You didn't see the video? It was on there. Special guest Tony Sanchez. I will not be being the special guest here.
Would you be
honestly, if they send a blast for media and have media availability there, I'll try. Yeah. Because that's different than just kind of crashing the supporter thing. I'm kind of want to give that space with us if it's a supporter rally, if it's a supporter group, if there's no media necessarily accessibility, I might go to just hang out, because again, I'm curious about this. You got to be on the pulse. That's how you're on the pulse of what's going on. I want to meet the 18th Battalion, La Barra 18. I want to meet more Riptides because I know their group's grown. I want to see what the locals are up to, because we're waiting, guys. Like I know it's a process, but like it's time to really, in the Chavos too, Chavos Frontera Ultras. It's time to really start making those connections, because look, it's a big section.
It is a big section.
I don't envy anybody in those positions. I will help in any way as a San Diegan and as a person with a platform, quote unquote, to help out. But other than that, like, it's gonna be interesting to see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely should be a good event for supporters. Definitely check it out. And I mean, who knows? Maybe it is a really cool special guest.
Paul saying AV as in Andre Villas-Boas. Obviously, but AV, Andrew Vasiliades.
I don't know.
That'd be interesting.
That would be very interesting.
I sent a Happy New Year.
Nice.
It was nice. I miss that guy.
Not
gonna lie, I miss that guy. I miss the loyal in people's life was more important than people think. I mean, for us, right? Like, that was our weekends to go cover the team and talk loyal. Like, right now we'd episodes. You know what would be happening right now? Like, we'd be posting some dumb thing about player announcements and signings and re-signings. Because remember we did the Christmas thing a couple years back. Justin Blair, Monterrey fans need to be patient with Vazquez. Mori left some big shoes to fill. Yeah. So Funes Mori.
Do you want to dive into players?
Players? Yeah, we can go ahead and dive into players a little bit. Then we're going to go ahead and tack on San Diego Wave and everything that's happening with there. So Brandon Vazquez, player who from San Diego, played in Cincinnati, was a vital part of their success in the playoffs and just kind of having their run. They eventually got eliminated. And Brandon Vazquez also will be part of the U.S. men's national team. Transferring over into Monterrey, Los Rayados de Monterrey, for this upcoming season. And he was swarmed immediately as he got to the airport. Because, again, like, it's a different Liga MX is a different beast.
Yeah. So, I mean, from what we know about Brandon Vazquez, right? Out of Chula Vista, heck yeah. But he's a poacher style. He's literally, he reminds me a lot like Chicharito, right? He knows where to stand. He knows where to go. He can finish. He can header. He can do it all. He's only 25 years old. His goal was to go to Europe, and Monterrey offered the better contract. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's a 4-year contract. If he stays there the 4 years, he's going to be 29.
That's his career. Yeah.
There is a sell-on clause. I know 619 Soccer was talking about it, but Cesar Hernandez wrote an article about it. Shout out to Cesar Football. Check it out on ESPN, saying that there is a sell-on clause, and there's going to be the contract's anywhere in the region of $7.5 million for him, with $1 million in potential add-ons and sell-on clause. So he also reported that there's going to be more details in the contract on Wednesday, but at the end of the day, this is a huge signing for Monterrey, especially Funes Mori leaving. If you don't follow the Liga MX, Funes Mori, just same type of player, tall, poacher style.
Big body.
This last couple years, but I think this is the hole that Monterrey have been waiting for to win a title. They've been contenders every single year the last couple of years for the Liga MX, signing huge talents like Tecatito Corona, and just big other big names. But literally, this is kind of like the missing piece. He has one good year here. I think he has a higher chance of maybe going to Europe. I think a lot of Mexican clubs are very well connected, and a 25-year-old is not really considered young anymore. That's reaching your prime as a striker. 26, I would say, is your prime. 27 at most. There are some late bloomers, but he has 1 or 2 years to prove himself in Mexico, or he won't be going to Europe. He turned down a contract with Chivas last year, which mamón por eso, pero I don't know. Like, it was either go to Europe now, or probably sounds like it might not happen. I doubt Monterrey will be willing to sell to Europe, especially with the sell-on clause, because Monterrey is a big business team in Mexico.
100%.
And I don't see him going, especially how Mexican teams now are being very stingy with how much they want to sell their players to Europe. I mean,
you're so brave for using that word.
I mean, it's true, but
yeah,
like literally Pachuca wanted like 20-30 million for Luis Chavez. He ended up buying himself out of his contract to go to Russia. Like, that's insane. That's insane. You can't do that in the MLS, by the way. They have different rules. But yeah, so Brandon Vazquez to Monterrey. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. But other than Brandon Vazquez, when it comes to San Diego,
real quick, we're going to listen to what he has to say. So
awesome.
He did get swarmed immediately at the airport because, again, like I said, it's a different beast over in Mexico when it comes to new players in such a large market in La Liga MX. It's something that it people take notice, and there's a frenzy when it comes to it, because in the US, that's not really the culture of following, soccer as closely. But ultimately, that's something that is huge in the rest of the world. Go figure. I was just trying to get back into the Instagram.
Instagram needs to change the whole 1 hour go live thing.
At least we're able to go on Instagram. Shout out if you're watching on Instagram at this point, or have been watching on Instagram, go ahead and try it out. Tell a friend, be a friend, tell a friend.
Real quick birthday shout out to Michel Cardenas from the San Diego Sockers.
Great. But yeah, so we have Brandon Vazquez with some words in the form of Twitter. If I can find it. ¿Dónde estás? There he is. Hello.
Sí, sé que son una huella muy grande en llenar, pero llego exactamente para hacer esto. Es pues un logro muy grande para mí, un deseo, un sueño de llegar y hacer
Yeah, it's a very big shoes to fill, obviously, with Funes Mori leaving. But it's always been it's a huge step. It's a huge dream that I'm kind of achieving.
Llegar, meter goles, ayudar al equipo a ganar.
I'm here to score goals and do exactly what the striker does.
No veo de otra.
And directly to the point, Mexican media is like,
¿Te ves campeón?
Can you see yourself as a champion? Like, yeah, obviously. Yeah, no, 100%. So
we have a question on Instagram.
Yes.
Can Brandon Vazquez become a top 3 striker for Monterrey? I think if he lives out his contract 4 years, I think he can be. I think it's let's look at Monterrey and top strikers that they had, right? The first one that comes to mind, Chupete Suazo. Güey,
Mhm.
ese era un crack, vato.
Okay, Funes Mori.
Funes Mori, who was El Chelito
El
Delgado.
Chelito Delgado, but that
like,
was not in his prime. He was in Cruz Azul.
Aldo de Nigris played in Monterrey.
Aldo de Nigris
He was good.
and his brother, Los de Nigris. I think, and Guille Franco. Like, I think
Guille
those
Franco.
those are really good names there. This is just to give perspective as far as like Mexico goes. Like, to answer your question, yes, it's very possible.
He can be, but
very possible.
Only if he lives out his 4-year contract and then maybe stays there after. I do think if he doesn't go to Europe after this year, he's not going to go anymore. I find it very hard for Monterrey to be able to sell him to Europe, especially keeping players like Gallardo, where there's been interest, and they're not going to.
And this is a great point. Again, Justin coming in on YouTube and saying this can be a play because the chance exists now for Brandon Vazquez to not live out his 4 years in Monterrey and get bought by SDFC.
Yes, it can be, but with the sell-on clause, teams don't like selling when they have a sell-on.
You have money. I know they don't.
It feels like Monterrey want to keep him as their next piece. Monterrey is dying to have a championship, and they've fallen short every single season when it comes to quarterfinals, not even semifinals the last couple seasons. So I think they're eager to be able to compete with Tigres, especially in Monterrey, and declare themselves as the owners of Monterrey.
They have a big shadow with Tigres just kind of hanging over them.
Which is wild, especially because Tigres just came over the last few couple of years. The best I can describe is Tigres being kind of like the Manchester City of the Mexican League and just kind of getting all this money. But
kind of takes us to this too, like a post that terrible San Diego Means had. Like, they have this series and it's a good little look here as far as like a good fit for SDFC. This is the second player, but the biggest one so far, Paul Arriola, kind of gave some stats, from San Diego, market value, like all that good stuff. But is it a good fit for SDFC? We just saw on the scout video with Right to Dream, kind of what they're looking for. That we've been told that this is academy based. Will they have players and veterans stick to play in there? Sure, but what do you think about this?
My question is, do people really want this team to be fielded by all San Diego players?
Yeah, like, I mean, it's fair.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you have a couple players from San Diego, that's great. You see San Diego Wave, right? How many San Diego players do they have, right? You look at Loyo, you had a couple players that were actually from San Diego. So you look at your big clubs, like you're a Chelsea fan, right? How many players from Chelsea that you're like, yeah, dude's from London. Like,
God damn, you say Landon.
I know.
God, like, how do we fix that? How do we fix that?
I don't.
Like, how do we fix that? Let's work on it. Let's work on it.
Some classes,
speaking classes.
Like my handwriting got fixed picking rice.
What?
Yeah, when I was a kid, las monjas le dijeron a mi mamá, "Te escribe bien feo."
The what?
The nuns at my Catholic school in TJ.
Oh,
I used to have terrible handwriting, and the nuns told my mom, pick single rice, like dry rice, from a bowl to another, and that improved my handwriting.
I mean, my handwriting is atrocious.
Yeah,
it's
it
gross.
Is.
Like,
it's
like,
his handwriting is how I talk.
I like that.
It really is. What was I saying?
Nuns. No, but
nuns, but yeah.
Is this a good fit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how many San Diego players do you really want in this MLS team? Do you want the whole team? I mean, at this point, if you want the whole team, you're more likely not going to be successful in the league.
Yeah. Cisco Solis over on Instagram saying that sees him going to America before SDFC. And again, all these possibilities are on the table. On the table.
100%, actually. Depends how much money SDFC has in their budget to be able to. I know that there's a cap limit, right? And we have to get familiar with all these different MLS transfer rules, but
yeah, a couple of players and a bunch of winners, as Paul says here in the chat. Thank you again for joining us here live, because it's really adding a different dynamic to kind of how we're doing things. And San Diego Football is a growing project that we have coming up, and we're excited to announce exactly what is going to start being rolled out here. But I mean, me official, we kind of touched on it. Another San Diegan, that's kind of what's going on with San Diego players abroad.
Especially with Sam Kerr being out, right? If you don't know, national team player Sam Kerr, starting striker for pretty much for
Australia
Chelsea and Australia, but just there's a big chance for me official to
Mhm.
kind of like be able to step up and fill in that hole and just prove that she can compete at that level. But yeah, I mean, ACLs suck. You've gotten your ACL torn, right?
Not gotten it tore, but
It
whatever.
tore.
Yeah, I mean, and that's technology is in a way different place right now, but I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on as far as her development and how she's going to perform in the U.S. Women's National Team, the La Mayor. Now that they consider her of level, because she's not playing Tigres. Yeah,
That's a different controversy that somebody started, but
either way, other stars that are happening here in San Diego. But yeah, San Diego is a hotbed for soccer. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we're still pushing to go ahead and talk about the game, because people are finding out 4 players locally were part of the trials for the U.S. Women's National Team under 17. Melanie Barcenas being obviously one of them, and 3 other players also included in that. There's a good piece. Listen to this. There's a good piece on KUSI on soccer. Okay. But it's our buddy Chase Isidro who does great work. Shout out to him. He's one of the few people that is actually out there from the big box media and really cares about the game and wants to get it out. But he had a piece about these 4 players, local players who trained over at the Olympic Training Center. But soccer is happening around town at this point. San Diego Wave.
San Diego Wave.
San Diego Wave.
Vamos a Coachella.
Since we're talking about San Diego Wave and Melanie Barcenas and her team and her teammates, they are going to be involved in the Coachella Invitational, which is predominantly announced as an MLS event, MLS Next event as well. It's kind of everything insular with the MLS and everything that they have going on. But they're going to go ahead and play against the Portland Timbers. See,
Portland Thorns.
That'd be really cool. You know what? I mean, we've seen it happen at the TSN tournament, but it'd be really cool. Just kind of
Coachella
see what
Valley.
they got. But yeah, so Coachella Valley Internet
Invitational. Nah, te lo pegué, güey.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Coachella Valley Invitational in Indio, California. Tickets are available February 20th and February 24th. They're going to go ahead and be playing in this kind of exhibition type format. But again, that's going to get some of the players really, really going. Expansion team, Bay City FC. Bay FC is going to be the first matchup. So some interesting things to look there for the new team that's coming in, the chemistry that's going to be eventually built. There's been success with incoming teams into this league, San Diego Wave being one of them. So it's going to be times to pay attention to exactly how that develops, because I know they are having a couple of good players. And then obviously the Portland Thorns, huge team, lost some of their stars, just got bought. Let's see, they got bought for.
At least they're not playing Gotham and their stacked ass team. Like,
yeah, Gotham is absolutely stacked. But no, the Portland Thorns actually just got bought out in a record-breaking $63 million deal. So just to give context to kind of where this is, one of the top teams in the NWSL got sold for that amount. That's the amount that people are paying for a single player who's going to ride the bench at sometimes over in Europe. But
let us know in the chat if you're going to go up to Indio.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see who's going to go, and maybe we can hook you up with some
tickets, hopefully.
Maybe. Yeah, that'd be good. You're welcome for all the content. Let's listen to the replay tomorrow. Thank you, Justin. Game is the same day as the Gold Cup at Snap, so that's kind of why we can't go. That's going to be an overlap.
Uno y uno.
Nose goes.
No, Safo.
Safo. Gotcha.
No, yo voy a estar aquí en San Diego.
But yeah, so that's going to be coming up for preseason as they move into this new 2024. It doesn't extend into 2024 season for the NWSL for San Diego Wave. But it's going to be interesting because I'm kind of tired of pinning these two teams against each other because they're not. They're different, but they're the same. They play in the same venue or going to play in the same venue. But look, this right to dream is coming into San Diego, and I have sources along with you. You also have these sources that potentially, like, San Diego Wave might also be starting some sort of, not necessarily academy, but just like a 2-team or something that's going to expand beyond the team that plays in the NWSL. So that's kind of what we know right now as far as what could potentially be coming down the line.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be an interesting dynamic here in San Diego.
So especially because Right to Dream is also looking into girls as potential players, right? So is it going to be
develop?
Is it going to be a collaboration? Is it going to be? I mean, we don't know. We don't know anything.
No. I don't know any. Don't know, but I'll tell you right now, no
collaboration. Got it. Collaboration maybe with Cholos Femenil coming from Wave. That could be something different. That could be interesting.
Yeah, outside of playing a closed door friendly.
Please, San Diego Wave, if you're listening, give us a game against Cholos Femenil.
To the public.
Amazing.
Let's just put a camera.
At Snapdragon.
Just put a camera there.
Or at Estadio Caliente.
Caliente, that's fine. Just open the door. People will go. It's just, you would print money. But I don't. Then that's what I was kind of alluding to earlier.
Cool. Wave Cholos Femenil game in
I'd love that.
So
I would love that. But that's kind of what we were alluding to earlier. Like, if Right to Dream is going to have the kilometer diameter to be able to scout from their facilities, from the stadium, and that extends into Mexico, into Tijuana, I think that they're going to go ahead and try to get and offer the opportunities to that demographic, because it is an opportunity. If you're a young girl playing in Mexico and you have the choice of playing with Cholos Femenil and kind of going through that academy and that system, or the possibility of coming over into the United States, still developing your game, getting an education, being in the United States, just that on itself is a huge step. Yeah, and guess what? Your family's going to get covered more than likely. Like that, there's processes that eventually will turn into maybe a working visa, depending on the age and just kind of how that goes. Whereas any academy or project of that nature in the San Diego Wave sphere is going to be more of the North County, who they appeal to on the sales, who is really funding and fueling this team. And not saying anything bad, but that's the lifeblood of San Diego Wave is the female, the young girl soccer teams that play over at Surf. Well, and that itself is an institution that already does what Right to Dream is going to be trying to do, of getting and nurturing these young players into the world, and now funneling them into San Diego Wave or to Right to Dream. So I think that's going to be two separate things that happen in San Diego in terms of who is going to be scouting who, because I don't see it's a real. Sorry, I don't see San Diego Wave going down into Mexico, if possible, and poaching or taking players from Cholo Femenil when they have plenty of talent where they're at right now. And that's just
here's the thing where it can get messy, right? Say Surf has a player, right, where both Wave are interested as an academy, or Right to Dream too. It's going to be up to the player to decide, and the player's parents.
Yeah.
And what Right to Dream offers on paper looks more attractive, right? Where they're going to give you an education. They're going to, even if you don't make it as a player, they're still going to look out for you until you're 18, until you go to college or into anything
which is great.
So they're guaranteeing that they'll look out for you until you're successful, whether it's on the field or off the field or both. That's where, if you see Right to Dream, it's a better option for people, where this is where they have the upper hand.
Yeah.
Also, you mentioned like players from TJ. If Right to Dream are able to tap into some of those players in that area, parents will convince their kids, Mexican parents from Tijuana will convince their kids to go to the U.S.
Yeah.
Whether playing for Cholos or anything like that, or going pro in Mexico. You go to college in the U.S. and you get a career and you
It's a
start
better
something.
life. It's
It
the
is a
American
better
dream.
life. It is not a gamble. It is something more guaranteed, and that's what these Mexican parents will be telling their kids if that were to happen.
It's a better opportunity at
And
life
we're
for some
speaking
of these
from
people.
experience. We're speaking from people that grew up in Tijuana. We grew up in those households, and it's going to be that. Mexican parents want nothing more from their kids than to go to college in the U.S.
Jeff asking, is it Cholas Femenil or should it be Cholas? It's Cholas Femenil.
It's Cholos Femenil. I think sometimes they say Cholas or
It's
las más
the
perronas.
offhand, La Más Perronas, but that's just kind of
La
like,
más
like
perras,
a
no,
nickname.
perronas.
Perronas.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's Cholos Femenil. Just quick, right? Like los perros can refer to perra y
Wow.
perro,
Yep.
right? Los niños could refer to boy and girl.
Yeah.
You would say las niñas if it's just two girls. So in this case, los cholos could be female or male.
Yeah.
It's just it always defaults to the male tense in that sense. Spanish with 2 balls and a mic and sending with a ball. But yeah, so that's kind of an interesting thing to keep an eye on. And as things develop, we're going to go ahead and, talk more openly about it as there's actually more to say. Yeah.
Big shout out to Naomi Girma for San Diego Wave making the EA Sports FC Team of the Year, the first ever Women's Team of the Year nominees list.
So yeah, I actually saw that. What was it? 2 days ago, 2, 3, whatever it dropped. That as soon as it dropped,
it already. If you want to,
oh, perfect.
It. Yeah.
Wow, technology. Yeah. So I was looking, and I was in attackers. Jaden Shaw, no. Is anybody? No, it's only Naomi Girma. Not even Kaylin Sheridan made it. So she's nominated on here. It's really, again, surreal to see San Diego being represented in FIFA. Just as it's a huge part of how I've come about in my soccer experience, and that's wild. I'm just gonna remove you from here.
Trinity Rotman's on there.
Yeah, but as far as San Diego,
yeah.
So that's kind of the pedigree. Morgan's not on it.
No.
It's just Naomi Girma's your sole representation here. So go vote. Like it's a vote. Like you can go ahead and do all that stuff. And again, it's going to be weird when San Diego FC comes into the MLS because then I'm going to be able to play as San Diego FC. Like if it's still going on, it's probably still. And the PS5 comes out and I have EAFC 26.
I finally played it for the first time.
Yeah.
During the holidays.
Yeah.
My brother left his Xbox. So
yeah. Did you play with his Ultimate Team?
I didn't.
It's like literally.
I should have just invited you over so you can just play with it, huh?
Yeah, not that is the amount of money that he spent is insane.
Big shout out to Andy. We love Andy.
Shout out. But yeah, so that's gonna be insane. That's the San Diego Wave is my current crest in my Ultimate Team for FIFA. So it just it's San Diego. Like of course, San Diego. Never been able to do that. So go ahead and vote for Naomi Girma. Some breaking news for Wave FC is that they did sign a new goalkeeper over from Louisville. They announced today that they acquired goalkeeper Hillary Beale from Racing Louisville. In exchange, the Wave has traded the club's natural second-round pick in the 2025 NWSL draft in Louisville. It's a weird relationship that the Wave has with the NWSL draft just because, I don't know, man. Casey hates it. Morgan hates it. The team hates it. The expansion draft. They're not a part of it, but this is the actual draft that is going to be coming up for San Diego Wave.
So she was drafted by Louisville, and she was sent on loan to Western United in Australia's A-League. So that's where she played last year. She won the Goalkeepers of the Year award, which is great. But I mean, how competitive is the league compared to the NWSL? This is going to be a great backup for Caitlin Sheridan. But I mean, that just means Lauren Brisky stays third fiddle.
More than likely. And you know what? She seems like a great locker room person, and
she really
players
does,
like her.
Really
and that's a role that you have to take sometimes. And
the team announced the departure of Shea Yanes.
Shea Yanes, the other goalkeeper, yes, correct.
Where I believe, where was she heading, Tony? Shea Yanes.
What?
¿No nos mandó el equipo? Sí, ¿no?
Yeah, no, she went to Bristol City.
There you go.
Yeah, she went over and has been transferred over to Bristol City. She was a part of the Supporters Shield victory, being able to be the best team in the regular season. So because there was a lot of times where Caitlin Sheridan, being the Canadian national team goalkeeper #1, was taken away. So somebody had to step up in that. So Shea Yanez did that, but she is good to go. Felipe Luis. But that's one thing that, it is very dynamic here as far as the point where Wave is. They're signing players, they're trading players, there's still movement, but it's coming up. The season's going to start really quickly, and it's going to be another interesting one for Casey Stoney's squad with the dynamics of no Challenge Cup. Now there's an in-game tournament during the Olympics.
She's just setting her up.
I heard something cool today. You don't balance in life anymore. Like, that's not what you're doing. Like, nobody balances in life. Like, if you're balancing, you're doing it wrong. If you have a good balance in work, life, relationship, like, no, you're juggling at all times. And some things you're juggling are made of wood. Some things you're juggling are made of solid, concrete, but some things are made out of glass. And you got to pick and choose which ones you're going to choose to maybe drop for another one. And you got to be in that situation. It's not necessarily balance. It's more like a juggle in life. And I think that the juggle that Casey Stoney is doing with this league is going to piss her off to the point where she's going to get driven out of the league. And I really hope that doesn't happen for San Diego's sake, because that's somebody who has done a lot in the soccer sense that is unspoken. We're also reached out to the team to go ahead and have a conversation with that. Last thing with San Diego Wave is that we have sources that are letting us know that potentially tomorrow there might be some sort of announcement for something. That's about it.
Yeah.
So just keep an eye out for sources confirming or denying. They could be lying to us for that. Ow.
Oh, sorry.
Hit me.
Sorry. But yeah, so keep an eye on for that. I mean, other than that, that's kind of like San Diego in a nutshell for the past week.
San Diego in a nutshell for the past week. And honestly, what a week. What a week. And we're going to have just plenty more to come from that. We're learning the new dynamic of StreamYard and everything that's great about it, and being able to be on 3 different platforms at once. That'd be Twitter, that'd be Instagram. Who has joined us in the chat, who has joined us Instagram, followed San Diego Football,
Twitter,
gotten a lot of great feedback from the logo, from the crest, from everything that's coming out. Again, thank you, Travis Peterson. That's the boy who designed that. There's going to be more of him and more of San Diego plastered all over your source, number one source for soccer in San Diego, San Diego.Football. This show remains 2 balls and a mic because there's a lot of new people coming in, and
family is San Diego Football.
That familia is going to go ahead and grow. So thank you guys for joining us. Seasons.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.